set up, so I'm not 100% sure it is working correctly. I don't know if I'm live or not. Ah, hello, how are y'all doing today? So, I am setting up a little bit more of a professional layout. Trust me, you're still going to get my live videos from my phone, but today I'm talking about business, something that is near and dear to my heart. I grew up in a big family. I'm the oldest of 10, and when I was 13, there were 8 of us. We moved from Chicago to Florida when I was 13 to a house on 5 acres in the country, and it was wonderful. We loved it. However, my dad opened his own business. I think I was 8 when he went into business for himself. And we had dinner every night at 6 o'clock together as a family, and he talked about business. He talked about sales, he talked about what he did. So we grew up being fed business information. We also grew up without a TV. So I read books. I read books 3 a day usually. Could not get enough information. Of course, I loved fiction. That was the best. But I learned a lot also. Mom brought in a ton of books about history and life and business and, how things were happened and how the world got developed. And those were consumed very quickly by me also. My dad had a book. They were Time magazine books. You got one every month, and it was about how to work on the house. And with that book, I sat down and fixed the clothes washing machine when I was 10 years old. And it worked! So, business. Wow, it's such a vast subject. I went to the Navy when I was 22. Was there for 4 years. Did very well. I received 2 NAMs, which are Navy Achievement Medals of Honor. Being a cook, that was highly unusual. I knew how to kick butt and work hard. But man, I did not fit into that system. Was not good at kissing butt, and that's what you needed to do when you were in the military, is get along with everybody, and that just wasn't my jam. So I got out, and my brother invited me to join him selling real estate. He went into real estate when he was 18. I joined him when he was 21. I was 26, and we went to Gainesville. He had been working in the Lake City real estate market, which was pretty small, and he decided he wanted to start selling in Gainesville. So I started off as his assistant. He had never had an assistant. Wow, we had some very interesting times. However, before I even went to work for Chris, he told me to write down 3 goals. I'm like, what are goals? Why is that? So my top 3 goals were to get a pedicure every 2 weeks, to get a new car, and I have forgotten the third. I need to remember that one. And what was so amazing was my goals for the following year was to have time to get that pedicure, and I already had the new car. So I kind of diverged. My dad told me I needed to read Tom Ferry's book on sales before I went into real estate. So I got the book and read it. And then just from there, I kept reading more and more books on sales. And then to top it all off, Chris started attending different seminars to learn more about how to sell real estate. He did Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, Craig Proctor. I'm trying to remember a few of them. But we went to quite a few real estate seminars to learn how to be better at what we did. And we kept growing, and we kept working. And Chris kept coming in with new ideas. Let's try this, and let's try this, and let's try this. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. I remember the day he told me to be a buyer's agent and to make my clients sign a buyer's agency. Oh, so I had come up with a way of showing out my clients what the houses were that fit into what they were looking for. And I had put together a folder. I had a folder, I put the houses in there, I put a bunch of information, and over time that slowly evolved to include more information about Gainesville and about what was going on there and why you should buy a house and the taxes. And there's so much involved with buying a house. And so I had that little folder in my hands, and it was the Gerards. They're actually good friends of mine now, or Facebook friends, and they're doing amazing in their business today. I'm so proud of them. It's amazing. But they were my very first clients that I said, you must sign a buyer's agency or I'm not going to work with you. And they got up and said, we can't do that. And they left the office. And I went and stood by the copy machine inside that RE/MAX office, and I was shaking. I was like, you lost a client, how dare you? This is the biggest crock of bull you've ever tried to follow. And all of a sudden I heard the the receptionist say, "Hey, Joy, they're back." So I turn around and they're like, "We need a house. We'll work with you." So they signed that document and I sold them a house. And from there forward, I would not work with you. If you were a buyer looking to buy a house, you had to sign a buyer's agency to work only with me. And that was one of the things that I know helped me make a lot more money. But it was also the learning, constantly reading new books, constantly implementing new ideas. And if they didn't work, shut up, try another one. And I love that I was pushed. Chris is an innovator. He thinks outside the box, almost too much sometimes. But he was always coming up with new ideas. Let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. I'll never forget the day I read The 4-Hour Workweek. That changed my life. I realized there was a life outside of working all the friggin' time. And I was like, I'm going to do this someday. To make a long story really short, I did. And one of the biggest reasons I have moved into business coaching is I now own a successful online company. I love business. It's my passion. I can talk about business a million ways a Sunday. But even more, I love the marketing part of business, because if we change something in marketing just a tiny bit, that tiny bit is what takes us from here to here. And I have had the opportunity to have quite a few coaches in my life. I've hired them, put out lots of money towards it. But those coaches, and when I worked with them and with their information and their advice that I implemented, I was again able to take my business from here to here to here, over and over and over again. And one of the biggest reasons that I'm sitting here in front of you, daring to follow my dreams, is because I hired a coach. Jamie McIntyre was his name. That man changed my life because he said, "Joy, what do you want out of your life?" And I started crying. I said, "It's none of your business. We're here to talk about business." He said, "No, we're here to talk about your personal life. Because if you're not happy in your personal life, you'll never be happy in your business life." And I didn't dare vocalize what I really, really wanted from my life because it was too big. It was too outside the box. It didn't fit. But I had spent a lot of time in the Tony Robbins world, and I had met people and been inspired by people who lived so big, and I wanted it. And I told Jamie McIntyre that day, I said, "This is what I want." And I just knew a smidge. I didn't know all of it. I had no clue of all of it. I just had an idea. And he started giving me the courage to start making steps to help me reach towards those goals. And as I kept stepping, things kept changing. And then ended up with me taking an entire year off. I did not work for one day for that entire 365 days, folks. And I learned how to relax, and that's a whole other story to talk about. But I just want to tell you something. Business is amazing, and having a good coach is where you will see some of the biggest benefits and changes to your business. So, hey, I'm going to be posting more of these videos. I'm going to try to get them a little shorter. I'd love to take you on my journey. You've got any questions, holler at me. I'll do my absolute best to answer them. And I look forward to learning more about you also. Take care of yourselves.